Today I want to talk about the situation that I saw a couple of weeks ago on a Fresh and Fit panel. It was brought to my attention by a couple of subscribers who sent messages and asked, what I thought about what transpired. And the first thing that was really evident to me was the fact that Fresh and Fit they're an unending wealth of examples of what men are not supposed to be. I think that it's a pretty fair assessment to judge anyone who uses their platform to vault themselves to be cut from the same cloth as those guys. Even though it would probably be an exponential boost to this channel if I engage with those guys on a friendly level, there are certain things that I would simply don't compromise as a man. And associating myself with people that I have no respect for, that's one of those things, regardless of what the benefit could be. But I've noticed that most of the people that go on that podcast, they're cut from the same cloth. They might have a variation in their cult of personality, but they're all basically the same type of bros. And so to see Wes Watson affiliated with these guys, being one of the guys that they chose to be on this panel, it wasn't surprising at all. Well, I started looking at that. I watched part of this discussion that was in question, and it was almost impossible to make it all the way through. So as a matter of fact, it was impossible. I wasn't able to absorb a great deal of it because anytime I try to watch pretty much anything that has to do with Myron and the little troll dude, it's hard. It's hard to watch. It's just full of douchebaggery. And this was no exception. But on this particular panel, there were, I guess it was a success panel or something. I'm not even certain what it was, but they had some drastically different people on the board there. And Wes Watson was the most memorable one. So as they go down the line, each of these men go and explain what they view success to be. And Wes's retarded slogan is ripped, rich, and rare. So it's it's obvious what this dude holds value in. His chemical muscles, his acquisition of material goods, and the idea that he's some rare specimen of a human being because the way he acts and the way he moves. And so he goes on, on a several minute rant about his greatness and what his views are, jerking himself off on stage. And then they go to Andrew. And Andrew's response wasn't an attack on Wes. He merely stated his belief system. He doesn't hold value in material wealth and the acquisition of material goods. He's not in shape, so he's not a narcissist who can't stop looking at himself and other men. And his value as a man is found in his love of his wife and his children, his family. And this is what set Wes Watson off. It wasn't an attack. It wasn't inflammatory. It was just another man saying that the very things that identify you as a man, I hold of no value. And he didn't say it to attack Wes, but that was Wes's interpretation. And so for the next several minutes that I was able to stomach watching it, Wes went on a tirade like a little girl at another little girl's party, mad because she didn't get presents. And it was just it was an embarrassing exhibition of who he truly is. A lot of people that don't know any better, a lot of people that believe this facade, that big muscles some kind of way equates to being some sort of badass, that's basically junior high thinking. But there are a lot of lost males in our population that look to guys like that who are procuring this character, and they go, damn, man, he's hard. I wish I was like that. And then they sell them this rhetoric, this script. And they don't know what they're seeing. I've been in the penitentiary as well. And one of the things that I know for certain is loudmouth bullies like Wes, they get hit relatively quick. And oftentimes, the people that are tasked with that objective are their own people. because especially in a maximum security penitentiary, there's a lot of industry that's going on that unit, especially with those organizations. And the organization that Wes claims to be a shot caller with, those guys have rules and regulations, and somebody walking around trying to be a guerrilla pimp, that brings unwanted drama, unwanted stress. Nobody likes lockdowns, nobody likes shakedowns, and people that are moving like that, they bring a lot of heat. And so typically loudmouths like that, they get checked relatively quick. But when I listened to his story and subsequently saw several videos that exposed the fact that the dude had never seen this level 4 prison that he can't stop talking about running, it is, you know, the dude is portraying a character. When I listen to this story, when I watch this character, it reminds me of a dude that I did time with that called himself Big Loke. And Big Loke was supposedly an OG from California. And when I hit the unit, he was basically the shot caller for all the young Crip dudes who really didn't know any better. And one day he was talking and he threw out the name of this neighborhood that he was supposed to be a baller in. And that was the neighborhood my cousin lived in. And so I shot my cousin a kite and asked him, hey man, have you ever heard of this dude before? When he hit me back, he told me, man, I asked the homies, nobody knows who that dude is. And so he was a fraud. And one of the COs was a cool little homie from Houston. And so we had him pull this paperwork, and it turns out that he spent 6 months in LA County waiting to catch the chain back to Texas. And so he spent that 6 months absorbing all the vernacular, learn how to throw his hands up and do all the things that the Crips were doing. And then when he came to Texas, he brought that facade. And once he was found out, they ho-checked him and he ended up catching out. But Wes Watson is just like that, I believe. I believe that he failed in California and he listened to the real gangsters, the dudes that he admired, the dudes that he feared, and he procured this image. He took that image and tried to be that dude when he served his time in Oklahoma, and now he's online selling this grift to young men, belittling and berating them anytime that they don't reach this level of success that he promises because they're not working hard enough. You know, when I see this, it's not a surprise, and it's really sad that we have come to the point where young men look to dudes like this for guidance. But in these moments where a man who, for all intents and purposes, would be labeled a beta male by alpha males like Wes, absolutely dismantled him by taking away what Wes identifies as his true worth, his true value. I think that a fundamental truth can be told about these men who hide behind their money, hide behind the things that they have. All of these guys would like their viewers to believe that the life that they're living is the life that they would choose. But the reality is these men they're not good men. They're good at being men, they're good at playing men, but they're not good men, and that's why good women don't come into their sphere. The only women that these men can interact with are women that are worth less than women who have a morality base, women who truly believe in themselves, women with the capacity and the ability to truly love a man for what he is. These men don't have that. They can't get that no matter how hard they try. And so they cope by pretending that surrounding themselves with 304s is the route. It's much better than being a beta male with a family, being a weak loser that's working towards something. It's better to be a fake pimp. It's better to be a fake convict. It's better to LARP as a Navy SEAL. It's better to do any of these niches that trap and prey on lost young men that are looking for an avenue or an answer toward how to become a man in a feminized society. When I see Wes Watson, I don't see a strong leader of a man. I see a fractured, fragile little boy who hides behind this armor of chemical-induced muscles and monetary things. He doesn't have the ability to keep a woman. He constantly hooks up with these single moms, capes for these women, and allows them to use them over and over again and pretends that that doesn't bother him. The truth of the matter is, this is the only type of woman that Wes can attract in his life, because that's the type of man he is. He attracts trash because as a man, that's what he presents. This over macho alpha bully shit, it only works with weak people. Wes would never speak to another man that was capable with his hands that way. He would sit there and he would let that man speak. But the coward Myron in a little troll dude, I've seen so many times, so many instances where these guys flex like silverback gorillas, throwing women out for just slightly getting outside the lines with them or one of their guests. But they sat there like puppies while this man walked back and forth, encroaching upon this man's space, threatening to smack him. Those dudes know who to pull that stuff with and who not to pull it with. The funny thing is it didn't work with Andrew. Instead of getting the desired result, Andrew and the guy sitting next to him laughed at him, which is the absolute worst thing that you can do to a bully who's trying to belittle and intimidate you with his muscles and threats of violence. Real men don't have to run around telling you about their value. Real men that are happy and content, living good lives, don't have time to get on the internet and scream at their camera. Real men that are confident in who they are don't have to belittle you as a man because you're not walking within the lines of their prescribed douchebaggery blueprint. And that's all these guys are selling you. If you could get anyone to be honest with you about their experience with Tate and whatever MLM he's got going on, or anyone who's engaged with Watson on a professional level, I guarantee you that these guys are selling the same line of douchebaggery as they possess, that they sell to their masses. I guarantee you Tate tries to get everybody to kickbox and get a Bugatti and play chess and read every book he thinks is. I guarantee you that's the blueprint. I want to make you exactly like me. It's a cult of personality. And that's what these men gravitate to. It's not the message, because the message is generic and I'll give it to you for free. Life is supposed to be hard for men because that's what makes men strong. Nobody's going to help you. No one's going to save you. So in order to get from where you are to where you want to be, you have to do the work. That work takes discipline. It takes waking up every day, doing the thing you may not want to do, but every step you take in that direction is the step toward the man you want to be. Discipline and consistency is all it takes. Get away from the gurus. Get away from the lies. Get away from the madness. Get away from these men that are LARPing as men. Go out, engage in hard things. Go out in places where you know men are and engage. Engage and take the losses. Take the lessons. Take the steps toward being a man. There's no blueprint. There's no book. There's no program. There's no other man that's going to show you the route that you're supposed to take. Especially men like Wes Watson. Out.